All right, so we're diving into this article about Payton Talbott.
The prospect.
Yeah, the prospect. It's crazy, right? This guy, undefeated, just had a wild upset at UFC 311.
Yeah, tough loss.
First loss, right? So we were trying to figure out, like, where does this leave him? You know, what's next for Talbott in the UFC?
Well, the article kind of sets it up, right? Like, Talbott was a Magna 1100 favorite.
A Mega 1100. I mean,
That's unheard of, pretty much.
like, people were putting their houses on this guy.
Yeah, just shows you the expectations, right? Everyone thought he was the next big thing.
And then, boom, Rioni Barcelos wins by unanimous decision.
You don't see that very often.
Not with those odds.
Especially, I mean, a lot of people thought that fight wouldn't even go the distance.
Yeah, Talbott known for his knockout power.
Exactly. So to lose, like,
In a decision,
unanimous decision.
it's got to mess with your head.
Totally. I mean, think about it. You're undefeated, the hype is real, and then suddenly you're on the mat wondering what the hell just happened.
It could derail a whole career.
Especially early on, it can really change things.
So how do you even process that?
No.
Luckily, Talbot actually gave us some insight.
Oh, yeah, I
He posted on social media, and I think it says a lot.
I think it's really interesting, yeah.
He said, "The vet gave me my first scar. May the skin heal itself to be strong and never split again. Lucky to have such people in my life. Fortunate to be able to learn valuable lessons. Still had fun." What do you think?
Well, first of all, not the usual, like, post-loss trash talk or anything like that.
Excuses.
Right, it's deeper than that. Like, the vet gave me my first scar.
Yeah, is that literal?
I mean, maybe, but
Metaphorical for sure.
there's some poetry to it, right? He knows this is a brutal sport, and this loss, it marked him.
Marked him for sure. It's both, physical and mental.
That's what makes MMA so interesting. It's not just bodies, it's minds, too.
Totally. And what I find interesting is how he talks about learning.
Yeah, fortunate to learn valuable lessons.
It's like he's not letting this loss, eat him up.
He's choosing to grow from it.
Could even be fuel, right? Yeah. Like now he's got this fire.
This is where the article gets really good. It says that Barcelos basically created a blueprint.
For beating Talbot, you mean?
Yeah.
Like out-wrestling him, neutralizing his striking.
Exactly. Talbot comes in, everyone knows him for his knockouts, and Barcelos just shuts it down, takes away his biggest weapon.
So what's Talbot going to do now? Like completely change his style?
I mean, he doesn't have to abandon striking altogether.
Right.
But he has to evolve. Maybe work on takedown defense, get better at fighting on the ground.
Become more well-rounded.
Exactly. This loss could be the push he needs.
Makes him more dangerous in a way, right?
Potentially. And that's what makes this so compelling, right?
Yeah.
It's not just about one fight.
It's about Talbot's whole future.
It's a fork in the road.
Oh, I like that.
Like, will he rise to the challenge, or will this be the moment that defines him, in a bad way?
And that is the question. We got to see what happens. The article also mentions that, Talbot's previous fight,
UFC 303.
he won in 19 seconds.
Knockout, yeah. Murray never stood a chance.
Brutal. Easy to forget that power.
It's MMA, right? Anyone can win on any given night.
That's what makes it so exciting.
Totally unpredictable. So what do you think? Does this loss, light a fire? Or does it send Talbot spiraling?
This feels huge. It does feel like a defining moment.
Crazy.
And for Talbot, the hardest part might be mental. The pressure of expectations, that invincibility, it's gone.
He's got to rebuild.
Exactly. Like starting from scratch almost.
It's kind of exciting in a way, right? Like, we get to see him redefine himself.
Totally. Me too. I can't wait to see what he does next.
Me neither.
This fight, it really changes things.
Oh, yeah.
For the whole bantamweight division, I think.
That's what I was thinking. Like, everyone saw Talbot as this unstoppable force.
And now, well, got to revalue, right?
Everyone's got the cheat code now.
Yeah, they see the weakness, for sure.
He's not so invincible anymore.
And that could be a good thing, actually.
What do you mean? Well, now Talbot's got something to prove, right? He's going to be coming back with, a chip on his shoulder.
Oh, yeah, like he's got this fire lit under him.
Exactly. He wants to prove everyone wrong.
Yeah, that's not just about a ranking or a title anymore.
It's about reputation.
Exactly, and that can be a huge motivator.
Think about, some of the best comebacks in MMA history.
Oh, you mean
They often start with, a humbling loss,
Yeah.
A fighter gets knocked down, has to rebuild.
Like GSP, when he
Yeah.
lost to Matt Serra?
Exactly. No one saw that coming. And then what happened?
He came back and dominated.
For years. So who knows? Maybe this is Talbot's Serra moment.
Yeah, maybe this is the start of something even bigger.
Possibly. And the article mentioned something I thought was interesting.
Yeah.
Barcelos, he's a vet. Tons of experience.
Talbot's still pretty young, right?
Relatively, yeah. And in MMA, experience matters.
Big time. Barcelos has been in there with everyone, knows how to adjust, adapt.
Exactly. Like, he had a game plan going in, executed it perfectly.
Yeah, while Talbot, I don't know, maybe he got caught up in the hype.
The pressure, yeah. Staying undefeated, it's a lot to carry.
Experience gives you that, like, calms us, right? You don't panic.
It's like a chess match, not just a brawl.
And Barcelos, he played it perfectly.
Didn't let Talbot dictate the pace, controlled the fight, took him down.
Shut down the knockout power.
Tactical clinic, basically. And that's a big lesson for Talbot.
Like what?
He can't just rely on striking. He's got to round out his game.
If he's predictable.
He's beatable.
So what does he do, like, in training? What should he change?
Well, the takedown defense, obviously.
Yeah, the article mentioned that.
He was vulnerable there, but it's more than that, you know? He's got to learn to grapple, defend submissions.
Maybe even, like, develop some offensive grappling.
Right. He's got to be well-rounded.
Otherwise, he's a one-trick pony.
And that's not going to cut it at the top level. But honestly, this loss could be good for him.
You keep saying that. Like a blessing in disguise.
Yeah. It forces him to address his weaknesses, you know? To really become a complete martial artist.
Like going back to school.
Exactly. New skills, refining his technique.
That's what I love about MMA. We get to see these guys, like, evolve, right?
Yeah.
Not just in one fight.
But their whole careers.
Speaking of evolving, can we go back to Talbot's social media post?
Sure.
We talked about the scar thing, but I'm really stuck on how he talks about learning.
Yeah, that's telling.
No excuses, just, like, taking responsibility.
It shows his mindset. Great fighters, they don't just win or lose. It's how they handle the tough stuff.
And Talbot's, like, fortunate to learn.
Yeah, it's like he's reframing it.
He's seen the positive.
Maybe losing the undefeated record, it's good for him.
Pressure's off, you mean?
Exactly. Now he can just focus on getting better, being the best fighter he can be.
No more prospect pressure. He can just be himself.
It's liberating.
And you know what I keep thinking about?
What's that?
How this affects everyone else, not just Talbot.
Oh, interesting. Like the ripple effect?
Everyone was trying to figure out how to beat the prospect.
Now they know he's human.
There's a blueprint.
The competition just got a lot more interesting, that's for sure.
People who wouldn't fight him before.
Now they're going to be lining up.
And Talbot, he's got to step up his game even more.
No room for error now.
Exactly. So, for everyone listening, pay attention to the bantamweight division.
Things are about to get wild.
I can't wait to see what happens.
Me neither. This is just the beginning.
It's easy to get, like, caught up in all the technical stuff, you know?
The strategy and all that.
Yeah, like, what does Talbot need to change? But I think there's something bigger here.
Oh, yeah? What's that?
It's not just about fighting.
I think I see what you mean.
It's about, like, resilience, you know?
Like life lessons kind of thing.
Exactly. I mean, this guy was undefeated, on top of the world.
And then boom.
Loses. But it's how he's handling it.
It's pretty impressive.
He's not complaining, not making excuses.
He's talking about scars, healing, learning. It is. And it's
Yeah.
something everyone deals with, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Life knocks you down.
It's about how you get back up.
Exactly. It's that saying, like, fall 7 times, stand up 8. You're going to fail. It's about what you do after.
I love that. And Talbot, he's like fortunate to learn these lessons.
It's like he's turning it into a positive.
He's choosing to see it that way.
Do you think maybe losing the undefeated record, maybe it's a good thing?
You mean like less pressure?
Yeah. Now he could just focus on improving.
No more weight of expectation?
He could just be himself, just fight.
There's freedom in that, right? Like, he's not the prospect anymore.
He gets to write his own story now.
Exactly. And it makes me wonder how this affects the other fighters, the whole division.
Oh, yeah. Like, the landscape has changed.
Before, everyone's trying to solve the Talbot puzzle. He's unbeatable.
Now they've seen it.
They have the blueprint.
They know he can be beaten.
Things just got a lot more interesting.
The competition's going to be fierce.
People who were scared to fight him before.
Now they're going to be lining up.
And for Talbot, that means he can't let up.
He's got to be sharper than ever.
No room for error anymore.
So everyone listening, pay attention to the bantamweight division.
It's about to get wild.
Talbot's journey, it's not over.
This is just the beginning.
He's got a lot to prove.
And we get to watch it all unfold.
I love it. Thanks for diving into this with me.
Anytime, this was fun.
And for everyone listening, thanks for joining us for another deep dive.
Keep exploring.
And we'll catch you next time.
Punchlines and punches, hard hits, sharp wit, no holding back.